Peptides are suddenly everywhere. People claim they can burn fat, build muscle, repair injuries, improve sleep, and even slow aging. Some influencers are now suggesting that peptides could be better than Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, or Zepbound. But there is one important detail almost nobody explains clearly. GLP-1 medications are already peptide-based drugs. So when somebody says peptides are better than GLP-1, what exactly are they comparing? Because comparing peptides with GLP-1 medications is a little like comparing vehicles with a Tesla. A Tesla is already a vehicle, but that does not mean every vehicle works the same way. Today, we are separating clinically tested medicine from marketing hype. We will explain what peptides actually are, which ones are being promoted for weight loss, and how their evidence compares with GLP-1 medications. We will also cover the biggest risks nobody mentions before selling you a tiny vial from a mysterious website. And stay until the end, because I will give you 5 questions to ask before buying, using, or injecting any peptide product. First, let's clear up the biggest source of confusion. A peptide is simply a short chain of amino acids. Amino acids are often described as the building blocks the body uses to create proteins and other important molecules. Your body naturally produces many different peptides that act like signals. They can tell certain cells and organs when to release hormones, regulate appetite, control blood sugar, grow, repair, or perform other functions. But the word peptide tells you what something is made from. It does not tell you what that substance actually does. That distinction matters because the peptide category includes many completely different substances. Some peptide medicines have gone through extensive clinical trials and received FDA approval for specific medical conditions. Others are still being studied in legitimate clinical research, and some are sold online as research chemicals, even though people are clearly purchasing them for personal use. Those 3 categories should never be treated as if they are interchangeable. Now let's talk about GLP-1. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. It is a naturally occurring peptide hormone that your body releases after you eat. Among other functions, it helps regulate blood sugar and communicates with systems involved in appetite and fullness. Medications such as semaglutide are engineered to activate the GLP-1 receptor for much longer than the body's natural hormone normally lasts. Semaglutide is the active medication used in products such as Ozempic and Wegovy. Tirzepatide, used in Mounjaro and Zepbound, acts on both the GLP-1 and GIP receptor pathways. So technically, this is not really peptides versus GLP-1. It is better described as clinically tested GLP-1-based medicines versus a massive universe of other peptides. And those other peptides have wildly different purposes, evidence, manufacturing standards, and potential risks. That is the part social media usually skips. Online, you may hear names such as BPC-157, TB-500, CJC-1295, ipamorelin, AOD-9604, and tesamorelin. They often get grouped together under the simple label of peptide therapy. But putting them in the same category does not mean they produce the same results. BPC-157 is frequently marketed for healing and recovery. CJC-1295 and ipamorelin are often discussed in connection with growth hormone signaling, muscle development, recovery, and body composition. AOD-9604 is sometimes advertised specifically for fat loss. Tesamorelin is an actual prescription peptide medicine approved for a specific medical purpose involving excess abdominal fat in certain adults with HIV. That does not make it a general weight loss medication for everybody who wants to lose belly fat. Context matters, the medical condition matters, the evidence matters, and the exact product matters. Unfortunately, online marketing has a habit of taking one interesting laboratory result and stretching it into a miracle transformation story. A compound may affect fat cells in a laboratory, produce an effect in animals, or show promise in a small early study. That is not automatically proof that it safely causes meaningful weight loss in thousands of real people. A viral testimonial is not the same thing as a randomized controlled trial. and your favorite influencer standing next to a refrigerator full of tiny vials is not the same thing as long-term safety data. This is where GLP-1 medications currently have a major advantage. Approved medications such as semaglutide and tirzepatide have been evaluated in large, controlled human trials. Researchers studied their effects on body weight, blood sugar, side effects, treatment discontinuation, and other health outcomes. That does not mean GLP-1 medications are risk-free. They can cause gastrointestinal side effects, and they are not appropriate for every person. People still need legitimate medical screening, proper prescribing, ongoing monitoring, nutrition support, and realistic expectations. But there is a major difference between a medication with extensive human trial data and a product promoted mainly through podcasts, private groups, and before and after photographs. For many popular research peptides, the evidence supporting general weight loss is either limited, early, indirect, or missing. That does not prove every experimental peptide is useless. Some may eventually become valuable treatments after proper research, but promising is not the same as proven. And currently being studied is not the same as safe for everyone to order online and inject at home. Now we need to discuss an even bigger issue. What is actually inside the vial? An FDA-approved medication must meet specific standards for identity, strength, quality, manufacturing, and labeling. Compounded medications are different. They can serve legitimate patient needs, but they are not reviewed and approved by the FDA in the same way as approved drugs. And an anonymous product labeled for research use only exists in an entirely different risk category. The label may not guarantee that the vial contains the advertised substance at the advertised strength. Questions can exist around purity, contamination, storage, sterility, incorrect labeling, and peptide-related impurities. If a seller will not clearly explain who manufactured the product, who tested it, and where it is dispensed, that is not a small detail. That is the entire foundation of whether you should trust what is inside the container. The FDA has specifically raised safety concerns involving some substances used in peptide compounding. For example, it has cited limited clinical data and serious adverse events associated with compounded products containing CJC 1295. The agency has also warned consumers about fraudulent or unapproved semaglutide and tirzepatide products. So this is not a story where every GLP-1 product is automatically safe and every other peptide is automatically dangerous. The real dividing line is evidence, manufacturing quality, medical supervision, proper prescribing, and transparency. Now let's address one of the biggest reasons GLP-1 users are becoming interested in other peptides: muscle loss. Some people hear that certain peptides may improve recovery, support growth hormone signaling, or help preserve lean mass. That sounds especially appealing when somebody is losing weight quickly and worried about becoming weaker or losing muscle. But this is where you have to separate a biological theory from a proven treatment plan. Claims that a substance affects growth hormone or body composition do not automatically prove that it safely prevents GLP-1-related muscle loss. And combining multiple experimental compounds does not suddenly make the evidence stronger. Sometimes it simply adds more uncertainty, more expense, and more opportunities for side effects. The most established muscle preservation strategies are still much less exciting than a secret peptide stack. They include consuming adequate protein, performing resistance training, avoiding unnecessarily extreme calorie restriction, and working with qualified professionals. I know. Chicken, Greek yogurt, and dumbbells do not look as futuristic as a glowing vial. But boring fundamentals have a habit of surviving long after internet trends disappear. We covered those muscle preservation fundamentals in our previous Beyond the Shot video, which is linked in the description. Now, before you use any product marketed as a peptide, ask these 5 questions. Question number 1. Is this product FDA approved for the specific purpose being advertised? Something can be approved for one rare medical condition without being approved as a general weight loss or anti-aging treatment. Question number 2. Are there strong human trials supporting the claim? Do not settle for animal research, laboratory studies, testimonials, or one dramatic before and after photograph. Question number 3. Is a licensed healthcare professional evaluating whether this is appropriate for you? A checkout questionnaire designed to approve everybody is not the same as individualized medical care. Question number 4. Is the medication coming from a properly licensed and transparent pharmacy? You should be able to identify who prescribed it, who produced or compounded it, and who dispensed it. And question number 5. Is the seller using language that sounds too good to be true? Watch for claims such as zero side effects, melts fat, heals everything, or works better than Ozempic. No responsible company can promise the same dramatic outcome for every human body. So what is the final verdict? GLP-1 medications are peptide-based drugs, but that does not make every peptide a GLP-1 alternative. For obesity treatment, approved GLP-1 and related incretin medications currently have much stronger human evidence than most peptides promoted online for weight loss. Some other peptides are approved for specific medical conditions. Some are being studied and may eventually become useful therapies. And others are being sold far ahead of the science supporting the claims. The word peptide should never be treated as automatic proof that something is natural, safe, advanced, or effective. It is a scientific category, not a quality guarantee. Before spending hundreds of dollars or putting anything into your body, investigate the actual compound, the evidence, the source, and the medical oversight. Because the biggest difference may not be peptides versus GLP-1. It may be proven medicine versus extremely effective marketing. If this video helped clear up the confusion, subscribe to Beyond the Shot. We break down GLP-1 weight loss, nutrition, muscle protection, medication news, supplements, and the claims nobody else is explaining clearly. And tell me in the comments. Before watching this video, did you know GLP-1 medications were already peptide-based drugs? Also, tell me which peptide you want us to investigate next. This video is for general educational purposes and is not individualized medical advice. Never begin, stop, combine, or change medications, peptides, or supplements without speaking with a qualified healthcare professional.